Welcome to It's Tea Time. I'm Aaron Taylor, filling in for Jonathan Sellers this week, and we're going to take a look at some things going on here in Trojan Athletics. And joining us, as always, Director of Athletics, Jeremy McClain. Jeremy, thanks for joining us this week. And we're start things off. We're not going to talk about Trojan Athletics. Well, kind of Trojan Athletics. Let's talk the Super Bowl.
Sure.
Big part of the Super Bowl was the Trojan participation in it. We had a pair of athletes in it. Won only 12 schools with a player on both teams. Having that kind of publicity surrounding a game, it's got to be good for the program around here.
No doubt about it. I think the old saying or adage is you can't pay for that type of exposure, but really it was neat just to see our former student athletes in that role and being rewarded for their hard work and them being in a position to contribute on a big stage like that. And so we had a chance to go out. Coach Blakeney and I went out and visited with those guys during the week out on the West Coast and spent some time with DeMarcus Ware and with Mario Addison, and they were both great. They were happy to see us there. Happy to talk about Troy, and we just were fortunate to be a part of that special week for them. And both of them played really well in the game.
They did.
DeMarcus ended up getting the ring, and well deserved. He's had a great career, and really excited for him.
And I know a lot of the Trojan fans out there were excited about that, but for you to get the chance to interact, because you weren't here when they played, but the opportunity to interact with some of these former athletes, I know it's got to be, I guess, good for someone in your position to be able to make those connections, especially with people at the next level.
Sure. I mean, it is, and I think really my role there, obviously they were excited to see us, excited to see Coach Blakeney. My role as a representative of Troy and Troy Athletics is just to let them know how proud we are of them. And they've, they're two guys that have stayed connected to the program, and they're proud of their time at Troy, and the feeling is obviously mutual. We're proud of them, and so you're right. I think just making those connections with our former athletes in general is really important to us, and it's something we're going to try to do a better job of, is making sure we maintain connection as our student athletes leave this campus, and we are able to kind of build that relationship and maintain that over their lives.
And of course, continue with that publicity. I mean, especially a lot of the spotlight was on DeMarcus because he is potential Hall of Famer and hadn't gotten that ring yet. But some of the articles and the stories that you saw coming back, even though everybody knows he's a former Cowboy, current Bronco, but seeing the national press put a focus and a spotlight on Troy and DeMarcus' relationship with Larry, it had to be something that you're just kind of beaming about, that, hey, look, we're getting noticed for what we've done here.
Sure. I think that's a credit to several people. That's a credit to DeMarcus and Coach Blakeney, first of all. Their great relationship there. And then, DeMarcus is, he's always talking about Troy. He never shies away from that. And so, we're very fortunate that he feels that way about this university. I know he feels like Troy really had an impact on his life. And so yeah, absolutely. It was fun to kind of see those articles come out about, the players we've had in the Super Bowl. We've got 7 guys who have rings now. And so it was fun to kind of see that and be on that stage and that week leading up to the game, be a big part of it.
Now, you were there for the week leading up to the game, but did you get to go to the game itself?
We did not stay for the game. I was, there was a lot going on by the time we left. It was getting pretty crazy, but we needed to get back, but we were able to stay out there long enough to get to spend some time with them.
Well, good. Well, let's bring it back here to Troy and talk about what's going on here. We've got a big weekend coming up because baseball opens up, and a lot of folks have their eyes on this. It's a historic season for Trojan baseball. New coach, but it's a coach that's been a part of this program and means a lot to the baseball program here.
Yeah, excited for the team. Excited to see him play. Excited for Coach Smart. He's obviously been a part of this program for many, many years, and is a great baseball guy, great person. I think the people in the community realize that, and what kind of individual he is. And we've got a great staff, and so I'm really excited about it. I think we've got some new faces that we'll have to kind of find their role, but we've got some key guys coming back too. So it should be fun this weekend, starting on Friday night. And I got a 4-game series this weekend, and so looking forward to that. The weather's supposed to be good.
The weather's supposed to be baseball weather.
It should be great. Yeah, that's right.
And now let's talk about baseball is about to get started, but softball. gargantuan opening weekend. They had 5 games, I believe, they played over the weekend. Only dropped one of them,
That's right.
but it was a close one and an exciting game there. But I know it's got to be exciting, especially the number of runs they put up this weekend was pretty impressive and pretty good. A good way to start things.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. They kind of set the bar pretty high offensively. They came out of the gates putting runs up all over the board, which was a lot of fun to watch. And like you said, went 4-1 on the weekend. Lost a game in extra innings, the only loss of the weekend, but really played well all the way around. I know Coach Mullins is going to be excited about what she saw, and I'm sure saw some things to work on too, as coaches do. And so be another big week this weekend. They'll be starting another kind of home series or home tournament, starting with Ole Miss on Friday night, which will be a lot of fun. And I hope everybody comes out to that and get a chance to support our softball team. I think they've got a chance to really make a strong impression this year.
And of course, and as you mentioned there, that Ole Miss game opening up that on Friday night, so bringing some SEC talent to the Trojan softball complex. And one of the 14 home games they start this beginning of the season. So I know it's got to be exciting to be able to get that much action at the softball complex early on.
It is, and I'll say our fans and our parents and our folks here in the community show up. It's every time I've been out there, even in the fall, the place is packed, and that's a lot of fun. It creates a great buzz. I know our student athletes and coaches appreciate that and enjoy that, and so I expect that and more for Friday night. So it should be a lot of fun.
Okay, let's shift gears to the guys that have been playing for a little while. The guys and girls, the basketball teams had a pretty good weekend here, and they're moving on to some big games. Especially they've got an in-state rival playing this weekend, and they're making a big road trip after that. So.
Yeah, had a great weekend. Saturday, obviously, always fun to win a doubleheader, and we did that against Georgia State, kind of in dramatic fashion on the men's side. Came from behind to win that. And then, like you said, South Alabama actually tonight on Tuesday night, play them down in Mobile, and then travel to Appalachian State on Saturday. So big week all the way around. The women are really fighting for the seeding in the tournament and try to put themselves in the best position possible. And then the men are trying to fight their way into the tournament and have been playing better of late and need to finish strong here to make a push to get into that postseason play.
And getting so close to that tournament. A lot of folks, especially on the men's side, a lot of folks may have discounted the men, but there's still a chance. There's a fighting chance for them to get in there. So the women still kind of have a good hold. They still have to win. But the men, that was one of those questions, but it's still looking good for the men, especially if they keep the way they're going right now.
That's right. Now, there's still a chance for them to get in there and we take 8 of the top 12 teams. And so it's kind of bunched up there in the middle. And so we've got 6 games to go, so they've got a chance to make a strong push here and finish strong.
Well, here's hoping that they're able to pull that off, and all this excitement here. We're going to go down here softball, baseball here on campus this weekend. So exciting opportunities to get out there and support the Trojans here this weekend.
A lot going on.
A lot going on. Jeremy, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And stay tuned for more of what's going on in Trojan athletics on It's Tea Time. Welcome back to It's Tea Time. We're going to talk a little baseball, and joining me now is Brad Phillips. Brad, big weekend coming up, opening weekend for the Trojans. I know you and the team have got to be excited about finally getting to play somebody else.
Always this time of year. It's, we're actually the longest sport on campus, the wait for competition. We get here in August, and we're the last one to start. So it's a long wait for our guys and for our staff, but it's finally here, and our guys are ready to play somebody else besides themselves. And I know you hear that a lot, but it's true. And we're as a staff ready to see them compete against somebody besides ourselves.
But you've got a lot of opportunities to see that. You played a lot of inter-squad games. I know people have been maybe following along with that, but you've been, had a pretty long practice schedule as well leading up to this. So you've had a chance to kind of see the guys in action. How's the team looking at this point leading into the first weekend?
We're very excited about this year's club. There's still a lot of unanswered questions as always because, it really brings in the outside competition to kind of really see who players are. But we know as much as we can about our club to this point without having an opposing team come in. We like our club. We like the depth, especially position play-wise. We need some guys to step up on the mound to give us some depth. That's always a question mark going into any year. So we're anxious to see how they perform. and just how they embrace Friday night.
And of course, one of the big stories leading in the preseason is obviously the addition of Mark. I guess I shouldn't say addition, but the new role of Mark Smart as the head coach. And I had a lot of excitement. He has history with the program and then some, playing for the team and then coaching under Bobby for the past 10 years and now taking on the head coaching position. And obviously I know there's got to be a lot of excitement building up about seeing him coaching in his first game as head.
I know there is. I know what his name is in this community. People love him in the community. He loves Troy baseball, Troy University, and there's probably not one more person more invested in this program than he is. And he's seen it from all different sides, and Friday night he's going to see it from a side that he hasn't seen it from before. So I'm excited for him. Our team's excited for him. It's well deserved, and I think he's going to do some really big things here at Troy.
And because he was a part of the program leading into this, was there much of an issue with transitioning since he had been a part of it since then, transitioning from the assistant to the head?
The transition was very seamless. Mm-hmm. He's been so involved in the last 13 years of the program, and he's kind of the person responsible for kind of guiding the team in the direction now. That's really the only difference. Nothing has changed as far as the everyday operations, when he's sitting at a different desk. Mm-hmm. So, for the most part, everything has kind of, been seamless, stayed somewhat the same. Now, he's putting his own name on the program as well, and he's done some really good things with our club, with our team, and I think everybody really is excited about the direction that he has all of us moving in.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that first game and opening weekend. You got 4 coming up this weekend for the folks to be able to check out the Trojans. Talk a little about what your competition and expectation for this weekend. So
a lot of baseball this weekend, starting with Friday night, and of course, a doubleheader on Saturday and then Sunday, of course. And Northern Kentucky coming in. We had them in a couple of years ago. We're anxious to see what they're going to bring to the table as well. I think they've got several new players on their roster as well, but it comes down to our guys and seeing them, finally get on that field against other competition. As I mentioned earlier, that's the exciting part for us, and then of course seeing the fans in the stadium and baseball being back and springtime and a lot of exciting things going on around Riddle Pace here in the next few weeks.
All right, and then of course you play that opening weekend, but then you got a chance on the next Tuesday, right? Chance to see folks again there. So
rare 5-game week. We do have a couple of those, but we do have a 5-game home stretch here leading into the start of the season. We play UAB on Wednesday.
Sorry.
That's a tough start there, 5 games in a matter of just 5 or 6 days, but it gives us a chance to see some guys that we might not see in a 4-game week. Gets plenty of at bats under our, gets it going early in the season. So being able to play early and being able to play a lot is a good thing.
Well, folks get a first chance to see him Friday night. Good luck with the season, and here's hoping that folks get out there and see you. 4 wins here in this opening weekend.
We hope so, Aaron.
And thank you for joining us on this section of It's Tea Time. Stay tuned for more of what's happening in Trojan sports. Welcome back to It's Tea Time. Now we're going to talk a little softball. We've got assistant coach Alex Hupp joining us here, and new to the program. For the folks out there that may not be familiar with, before we get into the softball schedule and what y'all did, tell us a little about yourself and how you ended up here at Troy.
Just kind of, I played at the University of Nebraska for 4 years, and then just, applied at positions and just been going on the coaching grind. I started as GA my first 2 years and then got my master's, and just kind of been working my way up a little bit. I consider that anyways. I just came from East Tennessee State University, and now I'm here in Troy.
Now you're here at Troy, and
yes,
I guess you've enjoyed the transition to Troy so far?
Yes, I do. I'm loving the warm weather. Everyone's great. Facilities are amazing, and it's a great coaching staff to work for.
And now let's talk a little bit about this season, you opened up the weekend, a big weekend, exciting weekend, some exciting games, a couple of blowouts in there, but you also had one loss, but it was still a good one. But let's talk a little bit about that opening weekend and how y'all did and what it meant.
No matter what, coming off your first weekend with a win there's nothing better than that. And especially coming out your first game, we started a freshman, and for her to get a win underneath her belt as well, like, that's great. That shows, we're going to have a little bit younger pitching staff in the circle a little bit, but then we got Ashley Rainey out there and, having a lot of years underneath her belt. Yeah. So, but with that, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. You can't beat the atmosphere that we had the first weekend out, and there's nothing to replace that.
And of course, a lot of runs, especially those first two games, the runs, the homers. I mean, just everything kind of piled on there. And at one point, I was following the game online, and I was like, "Are they going to leave any runs for the rest of the season?" But I know it's got to be exciting to see that kind of offensive output right away. Yes,
Becca Hartley, in that one spot, she did a tremendous job this past weekend, and she's going to be a catalyst for us. But honestly, 1 through 9, we're going to get it done. And what we kind of struggled was we had more people in the dugout that could go out there and do the same thing. And so it's not a problem, but it's a problem. No, it's a great thing. And I mean, offense is, if you have offense, you're going to keep yourself in any ball game. And so, we say offense wins games and defense wins championships. But with that, we loved it.
Of course. And of course, there was one loss, but it was a close loss. It's one of those that you almost walk away, I would think, as a coaching staff and go, yeah, it was a loss, but this was it was a good game and a well-fought game. So.
Right, exactly. And something with that's just a learning experience, and we'd rather have something like that happen and learn from early in the season than wait to have a game like that later on. Obviously, that's going to help us prepare more for this weekend with these tough teams coming up. And so anything like that is, we say learn from it. Learn from it, get better, learn your adjustments, let's make those quicker, and let's just get on to that next game, which we did with Alabama State.
And, of course, let's talk about the next game. And you talk about those tough opponents. Right off the bat, Friday, you've got SEC opponent coming in to open up the weekend. Let's talk about this weekend and some of the competition you're going to be facing. So,
we treat every team coming in the same. We're in there coming prepared. Us coaches like our girls to be prepared as much. We look at the scout reports. We look at, any film that we can get. We really try to have our girls prepared, and that's on us. And we love to do that because we feel like that gives our team and our girls the best chance to be successful. With that being said, Ole Miss is, every team is going to be good this weekend, and they've all had winning weekends last weekend. So everybody, is feeling pretty good about themselves this weekend, including us. And we love being at home with these teams coming in.
And of course, that opens up. The schedule opens up this weekend against Ole Miss, and when is that game going to be?
2:30. We play a doubleheader this Friday, 2:30 and then 5. And then Saturday, 2:30, 5. And then Sunday, we have just one game at 2:30.
All right. Well, folks, get a chance to, once again, of all of the 14 games that you open up the home schedule with, tough for the softball team, but lots of opportunities to see the Trojans in action at the softball complex this weekend. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on this segment of It's Tea Time. Stay tuned. We're going to hear a little bit about some tennis going on this week at Troy. Welcome back to It's Tea Time. Now we're going to talk a little women's tennis with head coach Rawia El-Sisi. Rawia, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And so you're opening up your home schedule here on Wednesday. But before we get into that, let's talk about how you guys have done, I guess, over the course of the last month since we've been back here this semester so far. So I've had some pretty good success from the team and had some good performances so far.
Yes, we did. So far, we're 4-2 winning in our winnings. And we couldn't play last weekend. We were supposed to have 2 matches, and matches got canceled due to weather. So we started the beginning of the season with a loss. I have a young team, so they were all nervous a little bit, I can see. And UCF was a strong team. So, and then they bring it back up the next day, playing Stetson, and then beat them at 5-2. And they competed like a team that had been playing for for quite a while, and actually one of their best weekend when we went to Miami and played FIU and FAU, and they both matches they clinched to the last match, and we won 4-3 and 4-3 the next day. So they were so excited. They were so happy about the win. It felt like we were at the conference championship game, and the energy out there, it was just unbelievable.
And it's got to be exciting for a coach to see, because you sit there and talk about that they were young, but then they're playing and then clinching it there towards the end. It's got to be exciting for you to see the team coming together that quickly.
I'm actually more than excited seeing them. I'm happy every day to step on the court, go at work and see them actually growing and improving. And it's actually interesting to see a team that they're not just, if a person is competing, it feels like they're all competing as a one person. Mm-hmm. And if a person is, like I got 8 players, so you had 2 sitting for the singles, because we had 6 singles playing. And one of them helped me in the coaching, because she's allowed to, when she only played doubles. And the other player, she's loud, and she's like, will cheer for the team. Like, if it wasn't her cheer and the loudness we had against FIU, because they were very loud at that game, the other team, and everything was a lot of things against us. They couldn't won, but the girls wanted bad, and the teammates who are not playing in the single, I haven't seen that support for a long time.
Is that getting that support and having that cheering section along helps out. It helps the morale of the team. So it's good to know that you've got that kind of team mentality going on there. So
it's great.
And now let's talk a little bit about you make a transition now. You've been on the road all over the place for the past month, but now you're back here for a little while. So back in Troy, and you've got your first match coming up this week. Tell us a little about your first matchup.
We play tomorrow, and we have Alabama State, and we play every year. So the girls actually super excited about, we have the home courts. We had, some of the courts resurfaced, so they're excited about actually using the new courts. And weather is going to be beautiful throughout the week. Yes. So it's like beautiful weather tennis, no wind, and it's like 70 degrees. And they're actually very happy that we will have the next matches at home, because they feel it's their home. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of people they want to bring out to watch the game. And actually, we were supposed to play home last week, and about a week or something ago. And we had to postpone the match. So the girls had flyers, they posted on Facebook, they created an event, and they told their classmates, one classmate, we're all gonna come, so they were super happy. Yeah.
And it got postponed, but they delayed that excitement to Wednesday, so they get a chance to have all that same excitement coming up Wednesday. But that's not the only one. You've got a whole lot of matches coming up here. The next few matches you've got at home, right?
Yes, and in March we're gonna have actually we're gonna be a total of 5 conference team in our conference, and we're hosting the weekend of the 24th, 25th, 26th. Yeah, we're hosting something called a pot schedule, and this is we have 10 teams, and 10 teams. We're adding one next year, so we get 5 in our region. So we're hosting a weekend. We play each other. So it's gonna be big.
Got a big, exciting weekend coming up. Yeah. But until then, people want to get their tennis fix. They can see when is it going to be Wednesday? What time you start?
We start at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock on Wednesday at the tennis complex. Folks get a chance to see the women's tennis team in action for the first time this season here at home. Good luck with your first match and the rest of them that you've got coming up here at the complex for the next few weeks. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on this week's edition of It's Tea Time. We'll begin join us again next week for more in what's going on in Trojan athletics.